The 86th legislative session is now in the history books, from property tax or school finance reform to raising the smoking age. A lot of big decisions were made impacting Texans here in Texoma. And this morning we are joined by two state leaders to discuss the highs and lows of the session. First, we have 68th District State Representative Drew Springer, who represents 8 Texoma counties, including Montague, Wilbarger, and Young counties. Representative Springer, thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Nick.
Now, before we talk about this latest session, we wanted to get your thoughts on Governor Greg Abbott sending another 1,000 troops to the U.S.-Mexico border in wake of the crisis there. A, is this necessary? And B, will it help?
I definitely think it's necessary. We're seeing such a massive influx coming in from Central America. We have to make sure our borders are secure, that we know who is coming in, and really help assist our federal partners at the border control and being able to work with them to make sure people are processed through and from that standpoint. So yeah, I support it.
Okay. Now, the session is over, as we said. How would you rate your fellow lawmakers and yourself? How did you do this time around?
You know, I think we had a very good session. I think that we listened to our voters, our constituents, know that they wanted us to focus on the big things in Texas this session. The fact that we could pass education reform and school finance without the courts forcing us to do so, I think was monumental. And at the same time, we were also able to tackle property tax reform. We did provide relief as well. And so I think all those things, along with a good budget that addressed a lot of concerns, was a very, very good session.
And you filed several bills that impact residents in your district. A big one involves the North Montague County Water Supply District. Explain how important this is for the people there.
No, absolutely. In the folks in the Nocona area there with the lake, they'd really been without leadership. The city was willing to step in on those. Those are the ones as a legislator you love to do because it addresses a local issue. You find solutions, and really with the partners there from the city and being able to carry that through, that was good. Had one with the Wilbarger Hospital District just as well, helping them out to make it easier for folks to be able to run for the hospital board.
And I want to ask you about House Bill 2959. The bill would have allowed Wilbarger County to adopt a hotel occupancy tax. It didn't get out of the House committee, but how were you able to find a different way to make this a reality for residents?
Well, we were able to, there was other bills going through, and so I was able to put an amendment on that does basically the same thing that the bill does. It'll add 2% to the travelers coming through the Wilbarger County and there in Vernon specifically, more than likely. And be able to give them some additional revenue to be able to support their arena and programs that come through there, attract tourists, and be able to drive additional economic development in the city and county.
And also, Governor Greg Abbott vetoed a bill you authored requiring air ambulance companies to offer reciprocal services with other nearby air ambulances. What do you think was his hesitation?
I think the hesitation was, you know, on the surface, it appears that it violates the free market. And as a free market Republican, I can understand and appreciate that. I think the problem that you face, though, is when you're unconscious, upside down in a car, you don't get to choose who's coming to pick you. That's done by dispatch. People are buying memberships, think that they have coverage. And we're not talking about the fact that you lose a few $100s. We're talking that if you have the wrong membership, wrong air company come pick you up, that you're out $50,000, $60,000, and those are life-changing, causes folks to sometimes go into bankruptcy, and so we were looking for a solution for that.
And so what is the future of that?
Well, in fact, I was meeting with one of the air ambulance companies this morning that wanted to, they supported the bill. They want us to see us continue to tweak it and find a solution. So we'll work with all the parties. AARP was a big supporter of it. So we'll look for a solution along with the governor's staff that next session we can address that problem.
And finally, we have to ask you about the Bowie knife. It seems obvious for it to be the official knife of Texas, but there were some errors apparently in how the law was written, so the governor vetoed it. Tell us why, and if you plan on adding it to the agenda in the next session.
I absolutely am going to add it next session, and we will try like crazy to get the governor up to sign it in Bowie, Texas. We filed that bill 2 sessions ago, and at that time, the lawyers who draft our language for us inadvertently put Louisiana instead of Mississippi as where the sandbar fight happened. We thought it was more background than really the essence of the Bowie knife being the official knife of Texas. But the governor wanted to see perfection in that language, and so he had that right to veto it. And so we definitely plan on coming back with that next session and try to pass it early. And like I said, we would love to have the governor in Montague County to do the signing.
All right, Representative Drew Springer, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Have a great day.